And just like that, we've signed another player. It's like waiting for a bus at Manchester City, isn't it? You spend ages waiting for one, and just like that, two come along at once. We got Kyle Walker yesterday, and we've signed Douglas Luiz today for £10 million from Vasco da Gama. Who is he? A lot of people are probably asking. Who is he? Is what I was asking about 24 hours ago, and being totally honest with you. But I've done a little bit of research. I can't profess to be some Douglas Luiz expert, but I've done a little bit of research into his playing style, where he's come from, and all that kind of stuff to try and keep some of you informed and up to date who our new guy actually is. And he's a midfielder. I'll give you that off the bat there. He's number 8. He's basically a box-to-box player. He seems to have a very good size to him. About 6 foot tall. He seems to be able to pass. He's got an eye for a pass. Looking at some of his highlights playing over this video now, he seems to be able to score from long range. He's got a hell of a rocket of a long-range shot. And he seems to be a bit of an all-rounder in general. He's played about 34 games professionally in the league for Vasco da Gama over the past couple of years, scored about 5 goals, and he comes with a reputation as one of the most encouraging young players to come from South America. Tim Vickery, I know, is a fan of him as well. But yes, we've signed another player. I suspect, if we're being totally honest, we won't see him as a Manchester City player anytime soon. I'm sure there'll be some news on that front, and there's a little bit of a statement here. 1 second. On the City side, it says the club will make a statement about his future path and development in the coming days, which basically means, yeah, he's probably not going to be with the first team this season. I suspect he'll go to Girona over in Spain and play a season in the Liga, which will be great for his development. I don't know if they need a number 8, but they do. They've got one now. And hopefully we'll see him come back to City in 2 or 3 years' time. The rumour is that Pep watched him, was really impressed and gave us the thumbs up, the green light for Cheeky to go and do his cheeky thing and sign another Brazilian Wonderkid. And he looks like it could be eventually a good signing. Hopefully it'll be one that comes back to us and actually makes an impression on the first team. But if not, it could be Aaron Moy or an Enes Anal kind of situation where we get someone for relatively cheap, and 10 million for a Brazilian midfielder, a young one, highly rated, and 20 international isn't a bad fee at all. Maybe we could get 30 million back for him, or 20 million, or make a small profit, or maybe he could do the ultimate thing and actually come back and be incredibly useful for the first team. He's another one now as well for this ever-growing Brazilian ranks at Manchester City. We've got Fernandinho, Fernando, obviously Gabriel Jesus, Ederson, and this takes it to a nice solid round 5. I like it. I like the fact that we're showing these Brazilian players. If you think historically, traditionally, these Brazilian youngsters, these little wonder kids, have usually been the reserve of the super clubs like your Reals and your Barças, or going somewhere like a Portuguese league to develop. And City haven't historically been in for these kind of players. Someone like Gabriel Jesus, for example. But now we've got that Pep Guardiola factor. Now we've got this, we're seen as a big club factor. We go for these players now. We get these young players for the potential, these exciting, talented, flamboyant South American youngsters, and we get them young and we get them relatively cheap compared to what they could be in 3 or 4 years' time. And I like this because it means we're not having to sign him for 40, 50 million in the future. And it means obviously we're growing in stature as a club, who can only be a good thing as far as I'm concerned. He was highly, highly rated. Apparently some clubs like Monaco and Dortmund were sniffing around him, and those clubs tend to get it right with youngsters. So if they're watching him, then that tends to be good enough for me too. But yeah, what do we get? We get a good, young, exciting player from what I can gather. You've seen all these highlights that I've been playing on this video. Go and watch some YouTube clips about him. It's hard to say. I can't pretend to be an expert. Go and do some research. Go and read online. But I suspect he's going to be one for our ever-growing loan ranks. A fun little signing, probably not one I know loads about, but he could be interesting. He obviously has a passing resemblance to Sarni, given his big throw and all that kind of stuff. I don't think he plays anywhere near as fast as him, but he looks like he's got the same amount of drive and energy as well in midfield. So hopefully we'll see that drive and that power one day in the Premier League. Anyway, guys, what do you make of this new signing? Where do you think he'll be next season? NEC Breda, maybe? Maybe he'll make it to City's team. Probably won't, but maybe Girona as well. Let me know in the comments what you make of him. If you haven't already, go and watch the Kyle Walker reaction video too, and we'll see you next time.